Okay, I'm not feeling particularly very good today. I've got this massive, massive headache, and I don't know. I went to sleep quite early yesterday, and I think someone called and tried to make a booking, but it's almost like I don't even remember that happening because I kind of was asleep and I woke up, and then it's almost like a dream, and I think I must have cancelled it or said I was busy or something. But yeah, then I went back to sleep again and woke up at about 3. Um, but yeah, it's kind of funny because I was just thinking. My head is actually really spinning. I was thinking that I got this letter for a door about some sort of health check and then doing like some sort of blood sample, and I didn't have to take it or anything. Um, but yeah, I thought it'd be interesting to like just get to send my blood off to this place and fill out a form and stuff. And I don't actually remember when I went to the nurse to for her to take the blood. She asked if my health was okay, and I was just like, yeah, it's fine. I was completely playing it down, and like, I guess I was lying. And I said, yeah, I get dizzy spells whenever I come out the jacuzzi, but that's about it. And I have a strong memory. I got up just to go downstairs and make a second cup of coffee. It's 10 o'clock. I had one at 6 because I couldn't sleep, but I've had a second one now to try and help me wake up. And I realized like how dizzy I am and how I just can't like do much right now. But yeah, it occurred to me that 2 days ago I was telling a nurse that it's like there's nothing wrong with my health and it's fine. But yeah, it's weird though to think because I was trying to fill out PIP and I haven't received any notice from that. But this was 2 months ago. But if PIP was supposed to be doing some sort of like test to see who's healthy or not, and if someone makes a claim about how they can't get up or can't do anything because of like feeling dizzy or whatever, and then if you say, hey, you can get £10 for filling out some sort of form and doing some sort of blood tests, and if the person starts saying that their health is fine on it, like I don't even remember what I've said on it. I'm sure I didn't say. I'm sure I did add all the health stuff on the because they asked loads of questions about my physical health, and I think I can't even remember what I put. I think I put negative on all the mental health problems rather than the physical health problems, but it was weird because when I was filling out that form, I genuinely felt like that was the truth, and like I don't remember being ill or feeling ill. I don't know. It's just like I have a vague memory of filling that form out and acting like there was absolutely nothing wrong with my health. And then when I'm just got out of bed today, it was just like, and I've realised I was basically asleep most of yesterday as well. It's kind of it just reminded me of that my health is really really bad. But I think on that form, I just put a whole list of things that made my health seem like it was fine. And she asked me if I was a big bleeder, and I was like, no, it wasn't. And she took the blood. It didn't hurt at all, which usually, or sometimes it has. And I used to hurt when I was a child a lot, so I don't like giving blood at all. But when I was trying to give blood for the beauty, there was a beauty pageant I did a few years ago, and they had this one where you donate, you can donate blood as part of um, proving that you're doing good for the community. You give blood or something, and I spent all year kind of losing weight so that I would get under 8 stone, and I got under 8 stone, only a little bit under, but I was under 8 stone. And when I went to go and do the sort of the giving of the blood, they said no because I was under 8 stone, and they saw that as a reason not to give blood. And I know this one wasn't like a pint of blood or anything. This was just two small cylinders. But I feel like part of the reason why I said my health is completely fine when it's really not, um, probably was because I felt like they wouldn't take the test, they wouldn't take the blood or take the sample if I said that my health is bad, or I know that I am 8 stone, so I don't think I'm under 8 stone, but I guess I don't know. I feel like that's the why I said it, but I don't even know because when I said my health was fine, I felt at the time that that was the genuine truth, and it's almost like I just blanked out the fact that I'm not actually very well, and I just find that very strange. Like, there's a lot of people who might say that they're physically unwell to try and like get a form, and then they might just act completely normal the rest of the time. But with me, I feel like it's like my memory goes, and sometimes when I feel like my health is completely fine, it's like I forget everything about my health being bad, or all the times that I can't get out of bed and feel like I'm, you know, I know that um there might be ways of, I don't know. I'm hoping there's not cameras in my room or something, but I don't know. I've always been paranoid that they've put speakers or something in my room, but cameras, I don't know. But I know that I am lying in bed all the time. But I also know that if the if Pip was to get hold of the form that I just filled, or if it was just like a test, because I think you should test people. And if someone's claiming to have health problems, and then you say, hey, we'll give you £10 to fill out a form about your health, I've just got a feeling that there's going to be a lot of people that might say, oh yeah, my health's fine and I can't, this is fine and fine and fine. And, I wouldn't say that would happen. I wouldn't say that if someone's health is bad and they're doing a health form about how they're, I wouldn't say that you would. If your health is bad and you have no incentive to tell the truth, and no incentive to lie. I mean, if you're filling out a health form and you have no incentive to lie and you tick, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. I just, I would have thought that there would be no reason to lie, but to be honest, I don't know what I filled out the form. I try to be as honest as possible on the forms. I don't have diabetes, and I don't have any thyroid problems or anything. They asked a few questions like that, but to be honest, if there was questions about my general health, I probably would have just said, yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. And I think the reason why I do that is because I want to believe that I'm fine. And maybe I felt fine at that moment, and it's just, I think it's just bizarre how I can go from being really fine to being not fine. And it's like when I switch from mood to moods, I almost forget all the times that I've not. It's like when you've got a cold. When you don't have a cold, you think, oh, it's fine. I don't mind having a cold. It's fine. It's not that bad. But when you actually get the cold, you're just like, oh my gosh, this is so awful. I never want to go through this again. And but when you don't have the cold, you forget it. So, I think you should definitely test people. But I realize that when it comes to benefits and finding out who actually deserves benefits based on their health, you might actually come across people that start saying in forms that their health is absolutely fine, whilst also knowing that they're claiming benefits. But yeah, if they've done that, that doesn't actually mean that it's the truth. I think if you're finding out if someone's health is genuinely bad or not, I think the only real way then might be to actually monitor them. How often do they lie in bed, or how often are they? It's not how often they're asleep, because you can be lying in bed 24/7 and not actually be asleep. In fact, I find if you are lying in bed 24/7, you don't even need to sleep that much, because you're basically resting the whole day. But yeah, I had a chat with someone, and there's one thing that I'm really, really concerned about, because I've been told, I don't know if it's the truth, and he doesn't know it's the truth or not, but that if they're changing the rules on rent, and if you've got a property that's being rented out, it counts as capital gains tax, and it shouldn't count as income tax. And because it counts as capital gain tax rather than income tax, it means that it can be calculated. They're thinking of changing the calculation system so that it's calculated by 40%. So regardless to whether it's £5,000 a year or £1 million a year, there's no limit on how much. Even if it's only £2,000 a year, if you own 10% of a house and you're making £1,000 a year, you can still be charged 40% tax on it. I mean, that is the most ridiculous law I have ever heard in my life, because one, houses are very expensive. You don't know what's going to happen. You could spend a huge amount of money on a property to rent it out for a small amount, only to find that you get a tenant that completely trashes it, and you find yourself in huge amounts of debt. You can find that there's a fire and you can't get insurance, and then you lose the whole property, and because of this, you can't be charging it as there can't be a minimum. And a lot of people have properties as like a pension. I see this second house that I have as a type of pension. I've tried to work, I tried to get a job, it didn't work, everyone ignored me, and therefore I saw a need to just work as hard as I possibly could to earn money so that I can buy a house and then rent it out, so that I can basically quit my massage job and use this as a pension. So this is not capital gains tax, no, this is my pension plan. And the idea that the government might think it's fine to take 40% of it. so that instead of making £5,000 a year, I'm making 2,500 a year. I mean, that is absolutely terrible. There's got to be some sort of minimum cap. He didn't know if there was a minimum cap or not. You know, they might say that it counts as only amounts over a certain amount count as, you know, I mean, if you've got money and you are making 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 on a salary, then technically maybe all this that maybe a second house can be counted as income tax. But if you've quit your job, and if you're, you know, if you're your rent, the house that you're renting off is your pension plan, well, it shouldn't be counted as capital gains tax. Why? Because this is a business that you've technically set up, and you know, I can't make money through anything else other than massage for some reason, because that's all the world has allowed me to do. So I needed to have a business plan. So my business plan was to buy a property, and I moved to Birmingham specifically so that I could, well, my mum helped me buy the property that I'm in now. You know, otherwise I would have had to spend another 4 or 5 years just paying off the mortgage of this price, but I didn't. She helped me buy this property, and it was very, very cheap when I bought it. The house doubled in value, so you know, I have made money on this. I've made some money on this property, but you know, technically I have a lot more than £200,000 worth of assets. I think no, probably not 90. No, I probably have about £180,000 of assets, and I've spent about 60,000 on rent. That's all gone, but I've made about 60,000. No, maybe less than that. Probably about 40,000. I don't know how much money I've made on. Wow. But yeah, the idea that that the government would there has to be a minimum tax, but I just that if there's no minimum account on that, and you're willing to, and you think it's fine to charge people 40% tax, I never ever agree with the 40% tax. Like that's total injustice and criminal. And if they are thinking about putting a 40% tax on rent, you know, I'm sure most people don't even like declare it. You know, if you didn't declare it, how long would it be before the tax people notice that you're not declaring it? You know, I'm declaring my quarter or my share, my quarter before, and it will be half. I haven't owned half for a year yet, so it's only I bought it in this tax year. So, but yeah, I don't know. No one's come after my sister yet, but then again, she's kind of not. She's not competent, but you know, I think it's a very good idea that if someone is making money through housing, it should actually be the banks that do the calculations. You know, if you're getting regular money coming in and the banks don't know where it's coming from, but if you say that it's coming from a rental of a property, you know, that they should ask if you're getting a regular money that's coming in and it's not coming from a job or employer, you know, it's probably coming from rent. And if it's coming from rent, then they should do the calculations on what the tax is, and it should definitely it should definitely not be 10%. I mean, 10% it should be, and it shouldn't be 40%. That's terrible. And for the 10%, there should be some sort of reassurance that if the tenants in the property don't pay rent, that you can get some people, bailiffs, round to literally move them and put them in some sort of tiny house or tiny room until they've found somewhere else. Yeah, I've got to stop this. I'm not feeling very well.